Oh, my favorite tailor. I can't say I have one favorite tailor. I have an historical tailor. Chiffonelli in Paris is not a secret. I'm wearing Chiffonelli. By the way, this one is from 2010, 10 year old already. I would say it's difficult. I like probably 30 or 40 different tailors, but if I have to pick a few, I would say Lorenzo and Massimo Chiffonelli in Paris. I would say Gaetano Aloisio in Rome, who I consider among the greatest. I would say Joe Morgan in London. Well, I hesitate between Joe Morgan and Michael Brown. Michael Brown was used to work for Joe Morgan. And I would say Pirozzi in Naples. I'm sorry, it's difficult for me to speak a few because I love so many of them and I don't want to hurt anybody and to hurt the feelings of all my friends around the world because we have so many tailors as friends. But why don't I say Chiffonelli, Aloisio, Pirozzi, Morgan, Brown. This is my taste. These are very distinctive tailors who have a very strong style, and this is what I like. My favorite sport? Well, that's easy for me because, I'm sorry, I laugh. Well, to tell you the truth, it's absolutely unprepared. Not that we didn't want to prepare, we didn't have the time to prepare. And we like the idea to do it like top of mind like that. So my favorite sport, it's easy, it's rugby. I played rugby when I was younger. I was pretty good, actually, at rugby. I was playing, if people know rugby, I was fly half, number 10. Very important. And is the person on the rugby field who is a kind of a, I would say this kind of a quarterback. He's the guy who decides what to do with the ball. And also is the guy who is kicking for the kicks. And I had only one problem. I think I could have made it a kind of a high level, but one problem is that I got problem with my eye. I can't see, how do you say, farsighted? Is that correct? Yeah. And so I can't. And so I remember when I was kicking for a penalty kick, I had to ask my friend from my team to show me the direction of the bars because I couldn't see them. And I was pretty good, a good kicker too. So yeah, rugby. My father, who unfortunately passed away recently, literally raised me in this religion. It's almost a religion of rugby. It's a fantastic sport. And honestly, if the kids were playing more rugby at school, it's very good for your spirit. It's very good for you have to share. Rugby is it's if not the only sport, you can't do anything alone. You have to rely on your friends and neighbors, and that's very, very important. And it helps you grow mentally. So rugby is probably the most incredible sport in the world. That's what I like. My favorite whiskey. Well, my favorite region for whiskey is the island of Islay, which produces, Islay is a very specific, of course, it's an island in Scotland. And it's a place where normally the whiskey are very peated, very smoky. I like Port Helen. I like Bruichladdich. I don't know if I pronounce it well. I like Laphroaig. I like all these things from the island of Islay, which is very impressive. But you have to like peat. You have to like the smoke. It's very distinctive whiskey, but I adore it. With a hint of water, like 3 drops of water. And that's something that I discovered a few years ago, that if you add a little bit of water, no ice, just 3 drops of water, it helps the whiskey being easier to drink, not burning your throat, and it reveals all the aroma. So definitely the whiskey from Islay. And there's a lot, Port Helen, Laphroaig, Lagavulin, all these whiskies are my favorites. My favorite movie. Once again, what's a difficult question? I can't say one. I would say definitely all the work of Frank Capra, from I would say Meet John Doe, It's a Wonderful Life, and all this from New York, Miami, with James Stewart and Claudette Colbert and Clark Gable and Jean Arthur and Gary Cooper and all these people. I think it's difficult to do better than that. Frank Capra was an Italian immigrant. You understand that Capra means a goat. It's not an easy name when you're Italian, and he came to America as an immigrant. He started from nothing, and I've been very interested in his life, and I think that he was one of the last representative of this new idea of movie, with the idea that cinema could have the power to change the world. And I remember Mr. Capra saying, it's a privilege to do movie, it's a privilege to be the director. And you know why? Because you have the privilege to speak to people during 2 hours in the dark. And when you have this privilege to speak to people during 2 hours in the dark, you have to be morally strong and try to bring them something that I will remember. So I would say, okay, I love a lot of other movies. It's impossible to take one, but everything from Frank Capra. And if you want me to take one, I would say Meet John Doe from Frank Capra. I think it's from 1941, but around early 1940s with Gary Cooper. It's an amazing film. Oh, wow, that's a good question, because my favorite airline, because we take so many planes, probably, I would say 200 flights a year with Sonia. Well, I would say, because I'm patriotic, I love Air France, because this is the last airline in the world where you can have wine or alcohol, even if you travel economy class, which is incredible, because everywhere else in the world you have to pay. So, and the wine list, which is important for me, of course, has been awarded since, I don't know, 15 years in a row, the best wine list in the world. So, Air France for sure. I will also say Air Canada, not only for the planes and for the airlines, but they have an incredible lounge in Toronto. I think it's called the Signature Lounge. It's literally a restaurant, a high-level restaurant. So I would say, and what we like in Air Canada is that the cabin crew are extremely nice people. Canadian people are normally extremely sympathetic. So I would say Air France and Air Canada, but of course we also like other airlines. We like also the British Airways business class with this very special setup face-to-face. It's a very interesting way to travel. So, but first of all, Air France, because my favorite city. Wow. That's a difficult question. I may surprise you not to answer Paris. Well, I used to live in the left bank in Paris on Boulevard Saint-Germain for more than 30 years. It was a beautiful place. Back in the years, Paris has become a little bit more complicated city these days, even if it remains an extraordinary place, and specifically the left bank. I'm a man from the left bank, the Boulevard Saint-Germain, which is one of the most incredible boulevards in the world. But with Sonia, we had the luck from 2012 to 2014 to live in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. It's a gorgeous city, really a gorgeous city, incredible. We were living close to the canals. In Prinsen Island, it's a small island, closer than Prinsengracht, if you know Amsterdam. We also like with Sonia a lot Madrid. The city is nice, but it's more also the mood of this city is beautiful. People are not stressed. So I would say Amsterdam, Madrid, Paris, of course. And in America, well, I can't say I don't like New York. Of course, I like New York. You know why we love New York with Sonia is because this is one of the cities in the world that, first of all, you walk a lot, and that's very good for your body, because you can, when you're in Manhattan, basically you walk. And also it's because there's a kind of a mix. When you're on Madison Avenue, you walk on the sidewalk, and you can literally cross all different kind of people. Different colors, different countries. It's a very interesting city for that. So, okay. I know that people who've been living in New York has a different point of view sometimes, because it can be kind of a difficult city to live in, but it's still fascinating me. My favorite restaurants, well, that's a complicated question for me, because I love restaurants and I love food, I will select, let's say, 2 restaurants. First, because it's a very special, close to my heart, is Hélène Darroze in Paris. This is, I think she was the first woman in the world to have 2 stars at the Michelin. I guess she has now 1 star in Paris, and she's also in London at the Connaught Hotel at 2 stars. And she's a fantastic chef. So, Restaurant Hélène Darroze in Paris. And this is where I had my first dinner with Sonia before I married her. So it's very special for me. And the second one is also a very strong memory, because I like to associate restaurants with memories. It's in Italy. It's called Le Calandre. I think this one is a 3-star Michelin. It's directed by a family, and the chef is called Massimiliano Alamjo. It's an incredible cuisine, incredible, creative, incredibly good, but at the same time not totally, over the top. Well, even if at this restaurant we really tasted some really incredible. So Le Calandre is close to Padova in Italy, and Hélène Darroze in Paris and London. My favorite hotel? Wow. That's a difficult question, because we spend a lot of time in hotels. But unfortunately, we don't spend a lot of time in palace or 5 stars, because we don't have the wallet for that. But if I had the wallet, I would say probably, I've never slept there, but probably the Plaza Athénée in Paris. I know the place for the bar, the restaurant, and I've been visiting some, back in the years, some rooms there, because I knew the person who was in charge of the public relations. Incredible hotel, Plaza Athénée in Paris. I would say, of course, had many occasions to eat there and to take a tea. It's La Mamounia, very famous hotel in Marrakesh, Morocco. Iconic hotel, 5 stars. Never had the chance to sleep there, but only the gardens and all the environments are absolutely stupendous. And on a more regular basis, I would say that if I have to travel very quickly, I said the Hyatt chain is always a safe bet for people. I will add also one hotel that I had the luck to sleep in the early 2000s when I was working in the production industry. It's called The Residence. It's in Tunisia, in Tunis, exactly. Actually, it's close to Gamart. It's a little suburb of Tunis on the sea. And I hope I will be able to take my wife there soon, because it's a wonderful place, The Residence in Tunis. Well, that's a that's a very difficult question for me, because I don't like desserts. Well, I'm sorry for that. Even my wife still don't understand. I don't like chocolate. Everybody is, everybody's craving chocolate in different form. And then I even read that it has some kind of psychoactive thing, and people get more relaxed when they eat chocolate and whatever. I don't like chocolate. I don't like dessert. I mean, I can eat a few things, but that's not my thing. But you know what? I adore cheese. And that's a big problem, because, in France, in America, we don't eat cheese as an appetizer or stuff like that. Cheese is a dessert. You eat the cheese. Normally you have an assortment of cheese, different cheese, after the meal. So normally what I would do, and it's at my family, for example, or any kind of dinner, I will skip the dessert, but go directly to the cheese, which is for me the best dessert in the world. Specifically French cheese. We have more than 300 or 400 different cheese, and this is something really absolutely unique. I tell the truth, huh? Yeah.